Alright, so this is the disaster / medical gas O2 outage cart. We got an air compressor on top. This is the toolbox with your needs for medical air outage. This is your box for your medical O2 outage. It contains 8-cylinder regulators and hoses if you want to backfeed for the 8 cylinders. The current policy is that we're going to put the ventilators on E-tanks and then figure out what we need to do for if we have to use 8 cylinders because we have limited amount of 8 cylinders. For the medical air, the biggest issue is going to be down in the NICU and the PICU. We have roughly 8 to 10 of these compressors that we'd have to distribute down to the NICU, roughly 2 per hallway or 1 per hallway depending on the need. We got one on this cart for now because it'd be a quick access to get down to the NICU, and I'll show you what's in the medical air cart. This also contains things for a Good Samaritan if needed. All the hoses and connects are down in here. There are 10 hoses with Chemtron connects on both ends, and I'm going to demonstrate how to use them to backfeed the wall, because in this situation that's what's going to happen. If the medical air goes down, then you're going to have to backfeed with the compressors back into the wall, because the NICU will be isolated with a valve until they can get the problem fixed. It's really pretty simple. You basically take your compressor, plug it in, and you turn your compressor on, let it run for a little bit, and after it runs for just a little bit, you hook your air line up to the compressor, and then after you hook your air line up to the compressor, you simply plug into the wall. And then you'd go monitor your wall air gauge to see how much pressure you're adding back into the system. You don't want to add too much pressure to the system, so if you want to get above 60 psi, above that's not good. So if you could stage 1 compressor in a hallway, backfeed it, see what your psi is, and then if you need more, you can add another compressor, preferably at one compressor on each end of the hallway in patient rooms is the ideal situation. These compressors, the bigger compressors we have are stronger. They'll provide a little bit better pressure, so if you have any ventilators, a lot of ventilators running in one hallway or a lot of high flows, I would use the bigger compressors. The smaller compressors like this are not as strong, but are just as would work just as well. The key is to work with the PEDS lead and determine which hallway is going to require the 2 compressors versus 1. And it's vital to get them down there as quick as possible. Most of the compressors are either over on med-surg or up on the 11th floor. Almost all of them are on some sort of dolly that you could get down there pretty quick. There's a policy for a medical gas outage for emergencies. If you have any questions, you can just ask any of the supervisors and we can try to guide you if you want to know more about this sort. So we're just going to go over the 8-cylinder setup real quick. It's just like this as far as how you would do it. If you get an 8-cylinder, you have to take the 8-cylinder regulator, and we'll have provide wrenches on this cart, and you just have to tighten this up to the 8-cylinder, turn it on. You would plug your Chemtron connect into this and then plug into the wall. Or if it was an isolated thing where, say, a high flow setup or a BiPAP on the floor somewhere and it was the only high demand oxygen device, then you could just plug their device into the H cylinder. Generally the E cylinder will run the ventilators for quite a while unless they're on a high percentage of oxygen, and that's probably the quickest and best defense for O2 outage with the servos. But any other type of device, you're going to want to go with, try to get an H cylinder. If there's 2 or 3 high flows in a hallway, I would take 2 H cylinders to that hallway and plug them in to the wall, just like we do with the air. And that's pretty much it. This cart also has the disaster box on it, which has a bunch of different disaster supplies. It's on the back side, and it just has, it's our department disaster kit, which has clipboards and flashlights and whistles and anything you may need in a major disaster is in this box.